Hello? We're in the exact same location as the last video. I knew this video was getting too long, so you might have watched part 1 already. So this is part 2 of me answering questions, giving my take on worries that future airline pilots or aviation enthusiasts might have. If you don't know me, my name is a lot of different things right now. Rachel Dutch, Rachel Volare, Ray, Dutch, Volare, all of the above. This is me. I'm an airline pilot, and I'm trying to answer questions, address qualms that people might have when thinking about becoming an airline pilot or working in aviation, primarily as a pilot, or questions that might apply to pretty much anybody that's becoming a flight crew member, like flight attendant and a pilot, people who are gone for days at a time, right? These questions might even apply to somebody that's thinking about doing charter work, corporate work, cargo flying, I'm not sure. Anyway, so I'm gonna run through people's thoughts, questions, issues, and just give you my take on them. So, can't speak for the rest of the world, but here's what I have to say about it. Let's get into it. Kyle, I'm currently in an integrated program set to graduate in early 2024 with a frozen ATPL. I have no idea what a frozen ATPL is. Where do you think the industry will be around then, job-wise? I've said it a couple times now. Once COVID restrictions are lifted, I mean, it's happening all over. Even my family in Alabama told me that like the mask mandate is no longer a thing required by the state. We're moving in the right direction. The only thing we can base the future off of is what's on the horizon, what we know right now, and the trend, right? So my idea right now is that travel is gonna come back booming, desire, people wanna get out, people wanna go, people wanna see their family members, people wanna go travel and see the world. I don't think that's ever gonna die. In my mind, the need for pilots is only gonna be greater than 2019, which they needed them so badly that there were physically not enough to supplement the retirements that these major airlines were going to have. And the majors get to hire from the regionals when they hit certain hours, but the regionals, they have to hire students when they hit certain hours, but if not enough students are going to school, the regionals can't hire and they're still losing people off the top. I think the industry is only gonna need pilots more after COVID is not a big threat anymore, so I think you'll be good. How did you find your first airline job and how did you work your way to your current position? Very easy. I was instructing at ATP and recruiters from the airlines would literally come in with free pizza and bribe us with pizza to go to the airline. That's exactly what happened. A few other ones, I got to see other ones too, but they talked the talk, I was sold, signed up on the spot for an interview. Went in for the interview, got called, asked to come to class. So it was like the easiest experience for me. How did you work your way to your current position? I got hired and I didn't move anywhere. Lastly, any tips for a student pilot? Yes. It gets hard. You're gonna have a lot of hard work. What I saw people struggle with when they were students was getting nervous for the check ride or not preparing for the check ride properly, and then they would wanna push the check ride. You gotta think about flight school, whether you're taking it slow or fast, you got to think about it as if you're in medical school, as if you're going to law school. You got to take it that seriously, how you imagine those people take it seriously. Study your ass off. You don't do anything else besides this. You like live and breathe it, obviously depending on your situation. When your check ride date is booked, you study as if that is your medical exam. You study as if that is your bar exam. You study as if that's like your paramedic exam. Other thing to keep you motivated, what only worked for me was reminding myself of 2 things. One, if all the people I saw around me could do it, I knew I could do it too. Because I saw a lot of brilliant people around me and a lot of not so brilliant appearing ones. There was literally no reason why I couldn't be doing this as well. The other thing, when I got burnt out, when I got worn down and was freaking out about this, freaking out about that, I can't do this, whatever. I was throwing myself pity parties all the time. I remembered this quote and it stuck with me my whole time. You are so much stronger than you think. It's in you. But fear that has been infiltrated into your mind, fear of failure, which is literally just your ego and makes you not be brave, not be strong, not be confident. You're so much stronger than you think. Bring down your walls, bring down your barriers. Find your inner strength. Jordan says, my biggest issue with wanting to go to flight school is trying to afford it when you're married with bills to pay, like a car, house, phone, insurance. Now, I wasn't in that boat when I was going through flight school. However, I totally get what you're saying. So, yeah, That's just kind of the reality, right? A lot of people around me were using student loans when they went to flight school. The other thing is you can just chip away at flight lessons as you can pay for it. Another thing is you don't have to go to flight school, right? You don't have to learn how to fly. It's about if you want to and if it's worth it for you. So if it's worth it for you to be spending the money on flight lessons and training, then you got to just find a way to make it work. Scale back your spending here, save money here, sell this here, get maybe a small loan to just assist, ask for a family friend loan, get another odd job. I don't know, sell your soul to the devil. No, don't do that. That obviously is a personal issue, but I get it. That's a lot of people's holdback. Now, are you going to go 30 years later? I don't know how old you are, but are you going to be in 30 years looking back and regretting that you just didn't make it work, that you didn't find a way? That is going to haunt you for the rest of your days. Personal choice. Jacob. Hey, I'm a commercial pilot majoring in aviation. My goal is to eventually join the airlines, but my question is, have you ever felt that a career in the airlines might eventually lose its charm and become just another routinely old job? I've been a huge fan of your channel throughout my last couple of years in flight school, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Yes, so I think that's kind of the fear for a lot of people with a lot of different jobs, depending on what it is, obviously. Here's my thing. I didn't think about it too much. I knew it was a possibility, but it didn't really matter to me because if I had that fear for everything in life, then you would never go do anything. And any career choice that I was going to pick, I was afraid of that. And that's the exact reason why I had to figure out how to become a pilot, because I got to that point, if you've seen my other video about my story, I got to that point where I was like, I need to just pick a practical career. If that doesn't scream routinely old job and boring to you, like that's what I was going to end up finding myself doing. And I was way more afraid of it becoming routine and old that way. So to me, even if it gets routine and old and boring, sometimes the lifestyle that it offers me to go explore the world, go see my family easily, that is worth everything to me. So yeah, it can happen, but I don't care if it gets boring. Taylor, I'm going to UND this fall for commercial aviation. I'm a little worried about financing and student loans. Any recommendations? How did you pay for ATP? Worst question for me, because I didn't get a student loan. Instead of funding my degree, my dad paid for ATP for me. He put me through flight school, and I will be grateful till the day I die. I didn't have a student loan, so I can't really give you any tips and tricks. Dustin, I'm 20 years old and it's my dream to be an airline pilot. I'm currently attending online college to get my BA in aviation, and I'm due to graduate 2023. I want to know if you believe ATP is still the best option for folks who want to pursue this career. So off the bat, I do still think ATP is worth it. I know people might not enjoy it sometimes, but it's just so fast. So if you know how to put your head down, do the work, study for a deadline, prepare and practice, and be self-motivated, but also not get distracted by your peers, because a lot of the people that go to ATP that end up in the student housing, they get kind of the dorm life party bug, then they like fuck up at school and they have nobody to blame but themselves. It's not the cheapest, but it's not the most expensive. You definitely can get there faster. So that to me is worth it. The toughest part for me while I was going to ATP, instrument. Private pilot was hard just because it was brand new, but I had a lot of motivation at that point. But instrument was like a totally different ballgame because everything is brand new. And then you're nervous because you're in the clouds and you can't see. It felt like there was a lot riding on that rating. It felt way more intense. Also, before I go, any advice for people like me who want to pursue this career, but because of COVID are worried that this is the right move? I have no doubt that this is the only career that I am the most passionate about doing for the rest of my life. Then fucking come on, dude. Like, what you waiting for? Honestly, this is gonna be like the fourth time I said it. I firmly believe that the airlines are gonna need people so badly. The floodgates are opening at the majors already. They're hiring, they've announced that they're hiring. So that means that my regional airline is gonna be losing pilots. We work for those majors, and if we don't have enough pilots to staff the planes to work for those majors, then we lose the contracts to other regionals who might be able to do it. The hiring is gonna get crazy, in my opinion. I believe it's the right move. Come join me. Glenn Little. Hi Rachel, I'm wondering, what is the cutoff for becoming a pilot? Great video as always. Still praying for the day you're my pilot on a flight. Much love. Well, keep looking in the flight deck, bro. Cutoff for being a pilot? I would say if you could just get your ratings get the experience by the time you're 60, if they need a warm body, even if they only get you for 5 years, I mean, they're going to spend a lot of money to put you through training. So it's kind of that piece of information that I'm not privy to about what an airline, like where that cutoff is, but legally, you could be working as an airline pilot till 65. Granted, you have first class medical and stuff. So it's just about getting in, and if the company would be able to see you as a viable and valuable resource, because they have to invest money and time into you before they can use you to make them money. Perhaps not necessarily about the airlines, but I'm slated to start studying. Are you saying you're excited to start studying for my CFI soon? I feel incredibly nervous and hesitant about having to teach someone else to fly. Did you have those feelings too? And if so, how did you overcome them? Yeah. So I did not have my confidence, even just as myself as a pilot. I was rated, but I didn't have the confidence. Passed all my ratings, and now I'm an instructor, and you have to find the confidence. Like, there's literally no other way. You have to, because you are now the one in charge. You are the one that if that student says, your controls, you're the one that has to take those controls. You kind of have no choice. You either find that inner confidence and it happens naturally, or you're out. Now, teaching private pilot students was a lot more nerve-wracking to me because those people literally have no experience. I'm literally, if they pass out, flying with like instrument students, multi-engine students, commercial students, CFI students. They all were pilots. So I felt a lot better as an instructor flying with them because we were more equal. Overcoming them, it literally was just a natural thing that happened. You find your confidence because you have to. You rise to the occasion. Sam, I was attending an aviation college program and got my private license right before the pandemic hit. After COVID, I changed my major to air transportation management so I could focus on getting my degree and letting things take their course at the airlines. I now find myself graduating this December, and I don't know if I want to go back to flight school anymore and pursue a career in the aviation industry elsewhere instead. Any insights when making a decision like this? Lots of personal dilemmas here, I would say. I totally get shifting your focus when pandemic hit because the airlines got hit so bad, right? We all saw it. If you're not sure you want to go back to flight school because you're worried about like a career as a pilot, don't be. If my ideas are correct. However, if you don't know if you want to go back to flight school anymore because it doesn't sound fun anymore, you don't think you'll like it anymore, it's not going to be rewarding to you anymore, if an aviation career as a pilot is not going to serve you and your life and the lifestyle that you want to have, then don't do it. Based on COVID, it was a huge hiccup, but I don't think it was like a game changer, you know, for the airlines. Okay, I'm leaving this to last, but one of the biggest questions that I've gotten, I based this video literally off of this question, but people want to know if it's viable to have a family having an aviation career, primarily flight crew, flight attendants, or pilots. And yes, it is. I wouldn't say it's easy, but I wouldn't say it's more difficult necessarily than other types of jobs. You'll still need a support system. You'll still need childcare. I think that it depends on your personal needs, your family's needs. When Alex and I think about having a family, it seems very feasible. The thing would just be that we need to be in a place in our life where we can be flexible with our relationship. We also need to be able to be flexible with our work schedules. So making more money per flight hour is also very valuable because you can work less and be already accustomed to that pay scale. But also then him and I can work opposite each other and then take care of the kids in that time. So having a support system, having childcare is key, right? So once the kids are old enough and you're comfortable leaving them for a few days with or without your partner at home, I think that both of our mothers are ready and willing to come to the rescue. I'm so grateful that we both adore each other's mothers. That's just our situation. When we think about having a family, that's what we initially think of as our support system, and being able to utilize them as grandmas, primarily. So our goal is whenever we have a family, wherever our house is, to have a guest room that's fully functioning and able to put up at least one grandma for extended periods of time. I really hate the idea that people say that you can't have a family with aviation, and this is so shitty. But when I was in flight school, the thing that people would say to me is, you can't get married in this industry. And they said, don't date a pilot. Because a lot of people create this image for themselves. Pilots made a reputation for themselves to be cheating, lying assholes. Sorry to say it. A lot of people are, but that doesn't matter if they're a pilot, a nurse, an accountant. It literally doesn't matter what you are, because if that person is going to be a cheating, lying asshole, they're most likely going to do it no matter what their career is. This industry allows people who are already weak to give in to their weaknesses, showing their true weakness. Pick your life partners, pick your occasional partners, pick your people carefully, vet them. I'm sorry, but it's just easy for cheating, lying assholes to be cheating, lying assholes in this job. Anyway, off my pedestal. It's also just, if you can't trust your partner to begin with, you can't trust them to be away from you for 4 days with people of the other genders, then maybe you have some other issues. I'm sorry, I'm going on a rant now, but that's not how I'm gonna run my life, and that's not what I'm okay with. Now, I was also okay with becoming an old cat lady if it meant not settling. That's not what I found. I did not settle in the least. The odds might have been stacked against us, but I swear, if we can make it work, you can make it work. You gotta find the right person, and if they want to make it work with you, they will make it work with you. Cool. Jessa, she wanted to know about COVID vaccine questions, about the airlines, if they're requiring it, etc. To my knowledge is what I'm going to talk about. I'm not required to have the vaccine. They are not paying you to get the vaccine. They are not rewarding you to go get the vaccine. I have not heard anything about people actually requiring the vaccine of their employees at the airline level. I don't know if that's the case. Now, the only thing I've heard about the majors is a possibility that they might require it for certain aircraft and those who work on that aircraft, because they go to international destinations where those borders are going to require passengers to have a vaccine. Now, I think that there is some fair expectations here, but also I really doubt that unions are going to let that happen, but honestly, I have no idea. I'm not too worried about it, but that's just my personal take. Jessica asks, she is currently 17, about to start training for her private pilot's license in a few weeks. She's really scared about how hard it will be. She's nervous if she'll be able to do it. She said she's a good student in school. She's sure she'll be fine, but if I had any tips for studying, getting it done, or anything else to ease her nerves before she starts. Last but not least, shall we? My advice for pretty much anybody that's about to start training for their private pilot's license. Where to start? It's gonna be a lot of work. So I think it's better for you to go in expecting it to be really difficult. Expect to have no free time. However, everyone's situation might be different, right? Because I went to a training school that was 5 days a week, possibly 7 days a week. I know not everybody's situation is like that. Some people do 1 or 2 lessons a week in their free time. If that's the case, then literally just devote as much time as you can, and chair fly is what we call it, but chair fly when you're off as much as you can. Once you learn a procedure, just pretend like you're in the plane and just run through the steps in your mind, and that's what will keep you the most fresh. And that is a technique that everybody does, from private pilot, instrument, multi, commercial, CFI, the airlines. Other than that, the last couple things. If I can do it, there's a really good chance that you can do it too. I'm not saying I'm dumb. I'm not saying I'm not qualified, and I'm not saying that I shouldn't be here, that I'm not competent, that I'm not knowledgeable, that I'm not smart. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying I'm pretty much average. I have not a good GPA from high school, took some random classes in college which were nothing to do with physics, and if I can do it, you can do it too. I studied the best I could. I'm a huge procrastinator. I'm always a nervous wreck. I swore I was going to fail every single check ride, and it just never happened. Surround yourself with people that are going to be uplifting you, people that are going to support you, people that are not going to distract you. People aren't going to understand what you're going through. So if that means kind of distancing yourself from some toxic people, some distracting party people, you got to make that decision that's best for you. So you have to be a certain amount of selfish to make sure you get through your ratings and your licenses and all these things. And it's a big deal to learn how to fly, right? So you need to treat it as such. Lastly, remember that you are so much stronger than you think. I keep saying this, but literally these 2 things is what got me through training. I was stronger than I was telling myself I was. When I wanted to be weak, when I wanted to fail, I didn't want to fail. When I wanted to back out, when I wanted to procrastinate, I was like, you're stronger than this. It just was like this stupid pep talk. Almost embarrassed myself to be like, who are you kidding? You are so much more capable than this. I was telling myself, you are not trying hard enough. If you're giving it all you've got and it's still not enough, then pivot, try something else. If that's not enough, then now you are allowed to feel bummed out that you couldn't achieve it or something. But then you keep trying. That's literally all you can do, is give it your best shot. Those are all the questions that I received, I'm pretty sure. So if I missed your question or forgot to address it, then I'm hoping that I got to it online. But I really, really appreciate everybody who sent me questions. I got so many. This was so long. I really enjoy sharing my little experiences and my tips and tricks and my take on things. I don't think that my words and my stuff to give to you is gold. I don't think it's the only opinion, obviously, that's out there. I think it's valuable for you to do some due diligence, finding out who else has talked about this kind of stuff. Get more people's take on things, and then you can gather all these different opinions, figure out what makes most sense for your life, what you resonate with. Take it with a grain of salt. My experience is quite limited, so I did what I could. That's literally why I'm here, is to just regurgitate all of my experience and opinion and share it with you so that maybe you can make a more well-rounded decision for whatever phase you're at in your life. I wanted this when I was going through what you're going through and I couldn't find it, or I just didn't know how to find it. So if I can be an inspiration to anybody, then I've accomplished my goal of putting myself here on the interwebs. Thanks again to everybody who sent me questions. Thanks for watching this long-ass video. Have a great rest of the day wherever you are at in the world. Go be good, go be happy, go make someone smile, go pay it forward. Stay hydrated, recycle, love your mom. Oh, today's Mother's Day. I'm filming on Mother's Day. I should call my mom. Did you like my video? You can comment, tell me you didn't like my video. You can comment, tell me you liked it. You can thumbs it up, you can thumbs it down, whatever you please. I love you. Thanks for getting to the end. I'm done. Okay, bye.